Hey guys, I'm Marc Silber. I'm an author and photographer in Carmel, California, and our show is brought to you by our friends at Bay Photo. So, we're carrying on our discussion about creativity, and this is really important stuff, right? Because beyond what's going on with your camera, the creative process involves the most important part of the whole process is guess what? Who's behind the camera? That's where the creativity starts. And many people get confused about what they should be starting with. Do I start with knowing my equipment? Do I go take a course in, cinematography or photography or whatever? Well, I just got through telling you a story about how I pitched a whole show not knowing anything about video production. So that can't hold you back. I visualized it and I pitched it and won the contract. Now, I was also using some talented people, but I actually did on-the-job training on that one and learned video editing. I learned video production. I learned, lighting. I learned all these skills. Don't judge me. The lighting isn't the greatest. I just moved into this new space. I don't have it well set up. But the very first step in the creative process is what? What do you think? Is it getting all involved in your gear? Is it getting complicated? Is it all these different factors? There's one place that you should start every creative process. I don't care if you're going out to shoot a wedding or photographs of your family or your cousin graduation or the kids playing baseball. It all starts with the same thing. Okay, and that thing is called visualization. You got to visualize what it is. What are you trying to do here? What is the story you want to tell? What is it you want to come away with? And you can actually work back from that. Like, I don't want to just come back with routine photographs. I want to come back with something unique and special. And I have those in my head what I'm hoping for. Now, it doesn't mean that you are only going to be shooting those photographs that you've already thought out. Ed Kashi mentioned something, and again, this is coming out as a reel on Instagram. So you should follow me. And by the way, while you're at it, do make sure you do subscribe and enable the bell because you're going to get some great content here. But Ed Kashi mentioned this thing. You've got to be prepared for those unexpected moments. Now, I'm going to twist that around because I still feel like, and I contend that that's still a form of visualization. Just because you had to visualize where you were going to put yourself to find those unexpected moments. You didn't just randomly end up somewhere. You had to think it through and go, I'm going to this scene. These are the shots I want to come away with. And I also know there's some that I'm not even planning that are going to come up. That is part of your visualization process. I'm not kidding. It's true. So, knowing that this is where the process begins, there's some things that you can do to strengthen your visualization. And the first one is do this all the time. Frame. You've got to see the world through a frame, because without the frame, we're just looking out. I've got a huge range of vision here. But that's not what the camera sees. The camera sees this or this. I mean, this is probably easier. It's a framing tool. I used to say we cut out a cardboard, take a card, and we cut out a hole in it. We use that, and you can hold it up to your eye. But the truth is, you got your hands with you all the time. You can do this, and you should do this constantly to train your eye to see shots. They don't just bang you on the back of the head and go, Mark, get your camera out. Shoot this. You've got to spot them. And it's like playing tennis or playing basketball. Hey, we're watching the NBA Finals. It blows my mind that these guys ever miss one of those free throws. How could you miss a free throw? This is like the one thing, no matter what, you should always be able to make, but yet they do. Okay, but they practice and practice and practice. It shows you how much practice you need. How could you ever miss a shot? Well, we do. But that just means you need to do more of this, which is training your eye constantly. You're waiting for a meeting. You're waiting for a bus. You're whatever, waiting in a doctor's office. Find the photograph. There is a photograph in every single space. You just have to find it. So that's point number one. Train your eye constantly. And you'll look cool if you go around and you're doing this. People go, whoa, that guy must be a film director or something. He's some kind of artist. Other art forms have a similar drill. Like if you're a writer, you can listen to dialogue that people have. I'm almost done with this. It's on net. No, it's on Prime Video. It's the story of F. Scott Fitzgerald. After he was kind of washed up and became an alcoholic, he wanted to write his kind of best novel. And it's a story about this young secretary that came to work for him. And he critiqued her. She presented a story to him and he critiqued it, and he really sliced her and diced her. But he made some points. If you got rid of all the negativity that he threw at her, he said, your dialogue doesn't sound real to me. This isn't really what people say. And one way you can get tuned into dialogue is just listen to people. It's kind of like doing a framing thing with your ears. If you're on a bus or a subway or in an elevator or you're waiting in line, listen to people. What are they saying? How do they say it? Leonardo da Vinci did this. He had a sketch pad and he went around Florence and he sketched people in different emotions. How do they look when they're really upset and they're fighting or they're afraid or whatever it is? Like, he'd sketch that. So when he came to do his most amazing paintings, he already knew, well, first of all, he knew the human anatomy, but he knew the emotional range that people had and what they looked like. And the same thing is true for a writer or photographer. Don't ever be afraid of those emotions. Even if you are afraid, just override it. Don't be afraid to photograph somebody who's really pissed off, really angry. It's a human emotion. You shouldn't back away from it. It's one of the spectrums. You don't always want people with a smile on their face. Annie Leibovitz, looked through her photographs. Nobody's smiling ever in one of her photographs. I swear she tells people to be moody. I don't know. I haven't been on a shoot with her, but she certainly never does anything to make them laugh, or she's putting them trying to bring out an emotion that maybe they're already there, but it's kind of buried. So don't be afraid to do that. But watch, observe, take notes, listen, do this. And the second thing that's really, really, really important in terms of increasing your visualization muscles, strengthening them, is to look at other art forms and look at how they did it. Like I just gave you an example of this movie with F. Scott Fitzgerald. I mean, I learned something from that. Yeah, he's absolutely right. You don't want fake dialogue. You don't want your character to seem shallow and unreal. Isn't it weird how we tune into things that are very, very real? Paul McCartney, I read his 2-volume book, The Lyrics. Got it for Christmas. I just dove through that. But he made just an incredible observation about one of the reasons why the Beatles have been so popular. He said, we just use everyday language in our songs. This is what people are saying. This is the words they're using. Amazing, isn't it? Just that one ingredient the reality that we have, it hits home. I Want to Hold Your Hand was one of their first songs. And I was a teenager. Boy, that was a big deal. Could hold a girl's hand, man. You're really moving along. And it's interesting, but that was they capture the age that we were all at, they're young fans. We were already at that point. Just find those real points, but study other people's art forms. And it honestly doesn't matter whether it's music or sculpture or photography or painting. I look at design all the time. I'm really intrigued by design. Like, what makes a beautiful design? Whether it's graphics, graphic arts with a logo, or the way a room or house is designed. I look at it and I feel something from that. I learn something from it. This is something you should constantly be doing. Take notes. Use your notebook. Use your, we should actually sell these things. I have an AYP notebook. Boop, boop, boop. And inside cover, it actually gives you the list of things to look for when you're looking at art. Kind of handy. It's right out of the book. But those are constant skills. Don't let me hear you say I'm the worst photographer in the world. You shouldn't ever be saying that about yourself, by the way. That's bad marketing. But you can say, I know I need to improve, and this is what I'm giving you right now are the skills that you can use to make that improvement. Okay, this is the continuing discussion on how to improve your creativity and advance in any art form. And it certainly, absolutely 100% applies to photography. The first area I really deeply analyzed was photography. And then I've gone on to really take a look at the creative process in any field, any art form. And I feel like we've come up with some answers and demystified and decoded what is otherwise a pretty murky process. Like, how do you ever end up there? Does this help you guys? I hope so. All right, so follow me on Instagram right there, Marc Silber, because I'm creating reels and stories and information that you're going to want to see every single day. I'm not kidding. You got to get inspired every day, just like me. And so I'm going to help you do that. Maybe 3 times a day. In fact, that's our goal, is to put 3 things out, because a day is 24 hours. Do you need inspiration more than once in a 24-hour period? I do. And I really work hard at it. I have several times of the day I just stop what I'm doing and just study something. Okay, so follow me on Instagram. Please, if you like what I'm doing, please like it and share. It's really a compliment when you share to your friends, your group, your camera club, whatever, because I think this is important for them too. Leave your comments. I will always reply. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and enable the bell. And last but not least, please do remember to get out and capture your own images of life. Take care, you guys.